Hey everybody, I'm Nick. I've got the Celica today. As you guys can tell from the title of this video, we just finished the manual swap on it. We're gonna kind of go over how we did that. So if you guys are looking to do it on your own, you'll have a little guide to it. So that's the inside here. It's all done. Shifter's in. Got my pedals installed. Everything else is good to go. I wanted to put this video out there because when I was looking to get into the swap, there weren't any real resources other than some forum posts and whatnot, but you got to dig through those and find the information you want. So I just wanted to use this as sort of a documentation of everything I was doing. I didn't exactly have the camera in for all the steps just because we were still trying to figure out exactly what we're doing at certain points. I didn't want to have the camera in the way, making that more confusing. So it's more of just a journal sort of showing the steps that we took. I just felt that'd be more helpful than just like a forum post, so you can actually see what's going on. At least for me, that would be helpful. So I haven't found any videos yet of a manual swapped 7th gen on YouTube or anything. So as far as I know, this is the first one. Hopefully it will help some people. Yeah, so we can start it up. Everything's good. It runs just as well as before. That check engine light's on. That's just an O2 sensor that was on before, but other than that, everything's great. That the automatic gears are still up on the dash. You can get rid of that if you want to put a manual gauge cluster in, but we thought it was kind of funny to just leave it there. So that's the only artifact left from the automatic. Everything else is fully transferred. So yeah, I'm hoping I covered everything here that's important you guys will need to know. I left out a lot of little things, like for example just ripping apart the interior, or just small little, or at least a lot of the bulk of the stuff in the under the hood, just stuff that you should be able to do on your own already. I'm not here trying to teach how to do the basic things, rip things apart on the back end. I'm just showing each step that I took and what you need to do the swap actually. So I'll put up on the screen right now a full list of everything I've used, so you guys can follow along. Make sure you have all the parts you need before you start. And yeah, if you have any questions about anything I'm doing, or if you're wondering what parts will work, just feel free to leave a comment on this video. Again, I'm doing this to help you guys. If you're looking to do something like this with your car, I want to contribute a little bit by just making that easier for you guys to be able to do it on your own and know that's possible. And now seeing that it's done, hopefully it will inspire somebody and help you guys along the way. So yeah, we'll get into the video now. Hey, what's going on everyone? I got my 2000 Celica GT in the shop today. We're manual swapping it. So I actually have a 6-speed manual out of the GTS, same year, but it's the same process for a 5-speed. Bolts up the exact same, all the connections are gonna be the same. Kind of got a little bit of work done already, but it's just the prep work you would expect, just cutting out the interior. We took out the automatic shifter. The cables are still in there, so we'll get to that later. We might need to rip out the dash more, we'll see. I actually already have the clutch pedal. There's one bolt holding on there, but that's just to hold it in place. We took out the brake pedal, and gas pedal still in there, I guess. Just basic stuff. If you can't figure that out, this is going to be a hell of a project. Yeah, we took out the automatic wiring harness and the brake fluid reservoir so far. That's just pop that stuff out. We took that out so we can get in. It's in this corner here where the clutch actually connects, so we need to get that out for some extra clearance. Yeah, so we're just gonna get into it right now. We're basically starting the actual swap of putting in the clutch pedal and everything. So we'll show what we can there. We might need to speed it up a little bit. All right, so we're in the driver's side footwell right now. I just drilled a couple holes there for the master cylinder to come through. If you have your master cylinder, just measure up those 2 bolt holes and the center part there. Just measure that up, put it in. There should be a little flap in the rubber liner that just pops right out. And then there's also, if you focus, there's a bolt hole up there too that's also just covered by the rubber. Pop those out, drill your holes, and then the clutch pedal should line up, and you put your master cylinder in from the other side to bolt it all up. We're gonna do that now off camera just because it's kind of messy.
get books on and see how fair it is.
Alright, so I just got the clutch pedal installed here. It's at least a two-person job. You need one person on the engine bay side pushing that master cylinder through. And everyone's got to kind of line up these bolts. So there's one of the nuts, goes over the threaded rod from the cylinder. The other one's up there. And then the actual center part goes through the middle, but that's all pretty straightforward. And there's that one more bolt up top. You gotta get to, doesn't focus. After that, these the prongs on this just gotta go over top of that central part of the pedal and just shove a pin through there. And then I haven't done it yet, but there's just a couple of sensors there for the clutch pedal. There is a small wiring harness here. This one here, I had to take it from the automatic or the manual donor car. It this bracket itself with the wires for the clutch pedal wasn't in this car, but the actual connector is already there in the body wiring harness. So yeah, so the clutch and master cylinder are installed now, and we're gonna move on to putting the brake fluid reservoir back on. All right, so right now we're getting the clutch line in before the brake fluid reservoir goes back, just so we have space to squeeze our hand in there. If you're making your own clutch line, I completely blocked the camera there. If you're running your own clutch line, I don't know how you're gonna bend it. This is taken directly out of the donor car, so it's already formed the way we want it. So we just had to kind of tuck it under there, run it up, and then line up the thread of it. And kind of need two people to get that in place. Still tough, there's not much space, but do what you can. We took out the intake hose here, just to make some more space. So eventually we want to get the slave cylinder in there, but we're just leaving it out, just kind of hanging here for now until we get the transmission in. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep working on threading in that line, and then we'll get the brake fluid reservoir in. All right, so we ended up swapping out our engine wiring harness and the ECU for this swap. I've read mixed things that you might be able to get away with using the automatic one that was in your car, but if it runs at all, I mean, you're gonna get codes and check engine lights and stuff, so if you can deal with that, great. But we just ended up picking up a proper manual harness from a GT, not the GTS one. It won't work because of the lift, and same with the ECU, so that's all good now. We just straight up replaced everything. Everything on the harnesses is the same between manual and automatic, except for the automatic has a few extra plugs for the transmission itself. But all you're really looking for when you do this, obviously I did this off camera, but there's the 8 connectors here along the head. One runs in the back here. Can you see the plug there? Let's see. I actually forget. Yeah, it's down here. There it is. Alright, so there's just that one that runs back. You can take that. And I think there's 6 or 7 we counted that continue on from that rail. One there, and then a bunch kind of get tucked down there with the alternator, and a few run behind the manifold. And on this side of the engine, there's just a bunch around there. I'm not counting all that, but I think there's 2 that you have to tuck in behind the intake manifold, and they run over here and come out in the bottom. Let's see if I can actually pinpoint them. No, I can't really find them in there. Anyway, they're in there somewhere. You have to just kind of shove your hand in and find them. It's a little bit tough. Might want to take off the front bumper, it'd probably help a little bit, but we left it on and it worked out fine. And then there's just kind of a bunch around here. The transmission's not in yet, but there's gonna be a couple that go down there. And then the whole cluster just runs in underneath the fuse box. And there's probably 4 or 5 in there. Just straight replace it with whatever was there with the automatic harness. And yeah, the ECU isn't back in yet just because we're leaving space, but it's the same idea. It all plugs in the same, it just has different functions. Alright, so we're working on getting the automatic shift cables out right now. We don't want to take out the whole dash, but I popped off the glove box here. So it's just 3 screws along here, and then 1 bolt on either side in there. And that should give you access to the fuse box here, which there's a couple of bolts holding it in there and one down there. And then you just gotta go on the inside, and there's a bunch of connectors. Just pop all those off. And then once all those are free, the fuse box should just wiggle free here. So we already did that off camera, obviously. There's quite a lot of stuff in there. We'd take out the stereo too, just to give us some extra clearance to actually reach in and unplug things. But yeah, just try to get some light in there. So if we're able to move all these to the side, you'll see these are the two shifter cables right there that run through. I'll just take the light out. You can see in there, there's one bolt in there and then another one hiding up in the top, and that's those are holding together the plate that actually lets the shifter cable run through into the engine bay. That's going to be exactly the same for the manual shifter cables. Focus here. Yeah, it's exactly the same for the manual shifter cables. You just got to pop this out. Just feed those cables through the car and then pop in the manual ones, and then with your manual shifter it should all hook up. For right now, there's this metal plate on there held on. I think there's 3 Torx screws, Torx bolts holding it in. One's on the other side, and there's 2 over here. So I think we need to take those out to pop off that metal plate, and that'll give us better access to the cables so we can actually get them out. So we're gonna work on that off camera just because there's so much going on in here, but we'll get back once we have that done. Okay, so we got the bolts out of that metal cover, but this rod right in the center of the screen right now goes up to the top. There's one bolt at the top and one at the bottom. We're just gonna pop that off to get a little more access in there. Okay, so we got that out now. You can see those 2 cables more clearly running up there. One of them on the left, that's what goes into the engine bay to actually control the transmission. The other one runs up there. We think it goes to steering column or something, but if we figure out anything different, we'll give an update on that. So now it's just get a better view in there. I think you can see that one bolt holding it in. The other's hiding up there. Yeah, you can kind of see it. So it's just those 2. And on the underside of the car, I think there's a bracket that gives it more support, so you'd have to get under there to pop that off, and then this should just come through the car, I think. I'm pretty sure you pull it through, don't push it out. So we'll get to that eventually. And then there's also this bolt here. It's just a little bracket to secure that cable in place. You'll have to undo that to get it free. That's no big deal. And then cables look like a big mess, but you can just easily pull those out of the way to make room to pull things through. And then we already had this shifter out. We left it in just so we can actually get the car into neutral, but that will just, there's just 4 bolts to pop that out. And then those cables come through this bracket for the shifter with these clips. You kind of just gotta squeeze them on the sides and wiggle it through, and then they'll pop out. But yeah, that's it for these cables then. Okay, so now we're trying to actually get those bolts out from the inside. We're gonna just show you the best method for it because it's kind of a pain with the AC in the way. So Jaden's got this light on it. I'm gonna go in with a 10 mil right up here, pretty much as far as I can. And I'm gonna, with this cluster of cables in the way, I'm just gonna get under it. And so you can see the bolt I'm going for. Oh, it's not focusing. It's good enough. So you just have to get in there and try to get the bite. Am I on? Not quite. I'm gonna cut all this and make it look like I did it seamlessly. This guy's good. Damn, this guy's good. Okay, so I don't know if you can see I'm on there now. And you just gotta work with it. Anyway, that's the idea. I'm not gonna record the whole thing, but just jam her in there. It'll save a lot of time. Not having to take out all those cables.
Okay, Jaden's trying to get that second bolt right now. Same thing, you just gotta approach it from the other side of the car, just shove it in there. This one's a little easier.
Supposed to anyways.
Yeah, allegedly easier. Bub.
Your hands are too fat, I don't know. Okay, I'm switching sides.
Yeah.
Switch teams.
Okay, Jaden's trying to get this second bolt now. You gotta attack it from the opposite side of the car, but it's a little closer, pretty easy. So we managed to squeeze a ratchet and socket in there, 10mm again. See if we can at least break it open with that a little bit, and then you should be able to do the rest of the job with a wrench or by hand.
So like I said, we're skipping lots of steps for this project. We actually already got the transmission in. We did that off camera today. So as with any manual transmission, we just need our flywheel, which was from the 1cc motor, and a clutch. We took it from the GTS, the 2cc, but you can use either, and same with the pressure plate. Use whatever you want. So just install that as usual with manual transmission. And then we swapped out the axles too for the manual transmission axles. The automatic ones aren't reusable, as far as I know, without modification. So yeah, that's all in there now. We connected the shifter cables, ran the clutch line down here. Shifter cables are in there, bed lighting. And then once we got out the automatic shift cables, we replaced it with the manual shifter cables.
And so, same thing. Now we just gotta put these two bolts back in with that plate where the automatic cables came out. It's probably honestly harder to put them in, but you just gotta mess around with it and you'll get there eventually.
And then with the manual shifter in place, the two cables just clip in place there. Again, it's probably easier if you source these things from a parts car. You don't want to be trying to get each individual piece. There's just a lot of little things that you just want to directly copy over from the manual car. So I'm going to keep working away and get that in, and then fully install the shifter, and then I'll work on putting the interior back together.